Hi, Marc.
Hi.
Thanks for speaking to us today. I've got some questions for you. The first of which is, you make wines that are commonly regarded as being among the finest in the world. What's the single most important thing that made your reputation, do you think?
Well, I think first and foremost we are a family working together, so the wines that we make are made by a family. It sounds obvious,
Yeah.
but it is rare. And so I work with 8 other family members, and so every key decision in terms of making, in terms of viticulture, winemaking, bottling, is made by a family member. And wine is also about soul, and our wines have our soul, and I think that's the most important thing. The other thing, sorry,
would
would be the respect for terroir. We produce wines now everywhere in the world, but some places have been identified forever as being great places to produce wines. And we are lucky in the Southern Rhone Valley and in the Northern Rhone Valley also to be in such a place. And so we respect that a lot. The soil, the geology, the climate, and we try to express that in the best possible way in our wines. And I think that's one of the reasons of the quality that we produce.
The next question is, which you've kind of partly answered, but you can expand upon, is what are the natural advantages that you have in making wine where you do? So what is that terroir all about?
Well, the Southern Rhone is a fantastic place to make wine. We are basically in a Mediterranean climate, so we have a climate which is warm enough to get ripe, but also we have a fantastic cooling down effect, which is the Mistral. Mistral is a north wind that blows maybe 120 or 130 days a year, and that's going to lower the average temperature. So we have the balance of a great sunshine and a cool climate in a way, thanks to the Mistral. Then the soil is absolutely fantastic. The Southern Rhone is a fantastic patchwork. You have a lot of different geologies. Most of them are limestone and clay, but within this big kind of picture, you have a lot of nuances.
Yeah.
And all our job with Family Perrin is to make sure to express these nuances. And I would say that it's really one of the most suited places in the world to produce wines.
And what are the best assets that you have to make the most of these natural elements that go to make up this wonderful terroir? What assets do you use to turn that into something, to express that in bottle, if you like?
Well, the first thing we really are focused on is the viticulture,
Yeah.
and we have been pioneers into organic viticulture. My grandfather started organic viticulture in Beaucastel in 1950. So
Yeah.
since then, we have not used any chemicals, pesticides. We do everything by hand.
Because that's quite pioneering. I mean, 50 was an early adopter.
That was really pioneering, yeah. But when you do organic viticulture, you have a soil which is aerated, which is not compacted, which is porous, in which you have worms and bees, and it's a soil in which the roots will go deep more easily.
Yeah.
And so that's very important, because when the roots go deep, they interact with the complexity of the soil, and that will give the grapes its complexity, and then the wine its complexity. So organic viticulture is absolutely key to us. And the other things that we do is that we have a great equipment, and we use 2 kinds of tanks. We use wooden vats for the reductive grape varieties, so that's mostly Syrah and Mourvèdre. And then we use concrete enamel tiles tanks for the oxidative grape varieties.
Right, yeah. And in amongst all of these things, how would you describe the Perrin family philosophy? What is your philosophy?
Well, philosophy is really, as I mentioned, the respect of the terroir. And then in terms of wines, what we are really looking for is the balance.
Yeah.
A great wine is about balance. If something is in excess in a wine, for us, it is not a great wine. It can be alcohol, it can be oak, can be whatever. If something is in excess, it's not a great wine. Balance is the key for us, and everything we do goes into that direction of finding the right balance for the wine.
So would you describe your winemaking, the vinicultural aspect of it, as being, it's an oft-used phrase, but minimal intervention? I mean, you allow the expression from the vineyard to you don't interfere with that expression. Is it there at that at the level, which is when you pick the grapes?
No, we do interfere. We do want to control what's going on, but we do it naturally.
Yeah.
So, for instance, we plow the vineyards mechanically. We never spray any pesticides, and to come just next to the vine where you cannot go with a tractor, we do it by hand. It's called la picole.
Yes.
And that's the only way to remove the weeds if you don't spray any chemicals. But so we interfere. We want to control what's going on in the vineyard, but always naturally and with only one wheel, if I may express like that, which is to make the roots go deep. So everything we do is to make sure that the roots go deep, and when the roots go deep, they will find the water, they will find the nutrients that you need. And everything we do in terms of viticulture goes into that direction.
Does that mean you suffer vintage variation less than somebody who would be surface rooting vines that are fertilizing and irrigating and all of those things that you commonly see? So when they get an extremely poor vintage, are your vines more capable of equilibrium in those vintages?
Yeah, absolutely. When you have old vines with deep roots, you are much less dependable on the vintage. Yeah. And the reality that in the southern Rhone, there is a lot of water in the water tables. Yeah. And in some vintages we have very, very little rain. So the only way for the vines to not suffer from the hydric stress is to have the roots deep enough to find the water where it is. And that's something which is very important to us.
Yeah. Another completely different question, although you have mentioned it before. What do you regard as the pros and cons, the good and the bad things about working with your family, so closely with your family?
Well, it's really, in terms of wine is not an industrial product. Wine is a form of art. It has a soul. And a wine is not a recipe. A wine is a series of decisions. And you make wine that you like, that you love. And when you do that with your family, of course, we have tasted together, we taste always together, we kind of like the same style of wines. And so we have a style which is a family style. And there are so many decisions when you make a wine, when to pick, when to bottle. So many that you need a consistency, and working at a family allow us this consistency. There are, of course, some cons, because we don't always agree on everything. But the good thing in the family is that we tell things to each other, and once we have agreed, there is no bad feeling about it. So we get on very well for that. And frankly, every day, every morning, when I go to the winery, I'm very happy to be joined and to join my family there. It's kind of unique now in the wine world, and it's not easy, but it's our great pride to be able to work like that.
And would you see that generational thing continuing?
Yes.
I mean, a lot of young people don't follow in France, don't follow in their parents' footsteps into viticulture necessarily. They go to big cities, but a lot of them come back, of course, don't they?
Yes.
So they go away and do their own thing, and then they come back. But you would see the Perrin family continuing for the future.
Yeah, well, we are trying to prepare that as well as we can, and we are doing new projects so that there is some room for every of the family members that will want to join. Yeah. And when you have such great terroir like we do, it's really a privilege to take care of these. And so I'm sure that most of the new generation will be very happy to join us. And we are already training them, although they are young. We're already smelling rosemary, smelling thyme, learning them how to smell, how to taste, because it's a long education, obviously.
I might have to send my children down to you for a little while.
Yeah, well,
why
not?
Well, I can tell you a few reasons why not, but anyway, I've got some. What is your desert island wine? I mean, it's a very difficult question, but if you had to take, if you had only one wine, what would it be?
Well, it's difficult, but if it was one of my wines, it would be one of my family wines. It would be 85 Beaucastel. which is for me now, if the desert island constraint was today, which is now one of the best Bocassa you can drink, and it shows, you know, all the beauty of aging wines also, and you know, we drink so many wines so young now. When you have a great terroir which produce wines which can age 30, 40, 50 years, and it's a rare opportunity, but when you can drink one of these wines, it's just much more than what you get when it's too young and fruit kind of forward.
And fewer people are making these styles nowadays than, say, 30 years ago. The styles which will, 10 to 15 years from vintage would be great, or even 20 years from vintage. It's a financial thing, right? You know, very few players do that now.
Yeah, it's a financial thing, it's a cash flow thing. But, you know, when you have a great terroir, historical, you need to do that. You have no choice. That's your role. And going an easy way, short term, is not good when you have such great places.
And finally, we're really excited doing the virtual winemaker project with you at Perrin. It promises to be the best so far, without doubt. What do you like about this project personally?
Well, you know, I think it's a great way to bring the customers in contact with the soil, with the winery, and it creates a link. It makes the thing closer, and that's what I like about it. Also, you know, we like all the Twitter, blog, and all Facebook. I mean, all these allow us to have a better contact with the people who drink our wines, and so this project seemed obvious for us. You know, we are quite active on Facebook. We are quite active on Twitter. We have a website for all of our wines. It's updated and all that. So it's logical for us, and we are very happy of our relationship with you guys also. So it was a great project for us, and thank you for proposing us.
No, it's a pleasure, and thank you for your time, Marc. I think that's us now.
My pleasure.
Thank you
very much.